This is Skin Info Ken. He's been getting bombarded on his social media, people calling him Coconut Man and asking for a hairline reveal. This had my curiosity piqued. What was the reality of this hair situation? And then he posted this. So I travelled up to London to sit down with Skin Info Ken and find out, is a hairline reveal really on the cards?
In your personal life, like, who knows the reality under the...
Mainly my family. I'm nervous, but I think the time has come. I gotta do it now, don't I?
Okay.
This
right,
mic
dude.
Won't ruffle, it's fine in there.
No, but don't like, I wouldn't constantly play with the cup of ice though, I can't lie.
So how
that will be low-key
tell me about
annoying.
it.
Yeah.
So I'm Kenard, but people know me as Skin Info Ken, and I mainly post videos about skincare, but obviously in recent months, some of my niche has changed, hence this collaboration. Originally, it was kind of, it was very random. So my mom works in the skin field, and during COVID, she, said I should have my own business, but not even that. She said I should start social media. She thought I'd be a good fit for it. And then as time went on, we found our rhythm. Like, she'd make sure that everything I say is correct, because at the time I wasn't really.
Oh, so she was like coaching you on the content, what content to start
yeah,
and put
sort
out.
of. I mean,
cool.
basically at the beginning it was mostly scripted, but this is when I was first getting into skincare, so my knowledge wasn't very, it's not like what it is today.
Yeah.
But then as time went on, obviously we shifted from pimple poppings, because at that time I suffered with quite bad acne.
Is that how it started?
Yeah.
Right, that's what kind of got you into it. That was your struggle, was the acne.
Yeah.
And then you started making content on how to, like, solve that problem, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
and the
okay.
different ways you could do it, whether it be products or your diet. But also show that, it's fine to have acne and
Normal.
yeah, exactly. And obviously it goes away as well. That's always reassuring to know as well.
Okay, so like giving people a bit of hope as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not the end, like you can
get
live through
with
this.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Was it like slow growth, or was there a video that, was it like nothing and then you had a banger?
For Instagram?
Or, yeah, for Instagram.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
It was sudden like that. I'm not sure if you've seen it. So back in the summer last year, I was doing like facial hairstyles.
Right.
I know it might not look like, but I can grow something a little bit. And I was experimenting a little bit. So I'd grown it out for a month, and obviously, Instagram being Instagram, the main focus wasn't the facial hair.
Right.
But that was a video that got the ball rolling for sure.
Gave you some traction.
Exactly, yeah.
So, okay, so you did some facial hair, and then, yeah, I think what you're referring to there is the kind of comments, the interaction that you get on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
It's typically a bit, I don't want to say negative. Well, how would you describe it? Not necessarily just you specifically, but like in general.
I think it depends how you look at it as well, right? Like obviously initially it's, they can be quite mean maybe. At first glance you'd be like, oh, that's not very nice. But then you see maybe they comment on multiple of your videos, and in a way they're sort of like the most loyal viewer. And obviously, they say it helps with engagement and everything. But I don't mind the comments. I'm not, like, sometimes I'll wake up in the morning, look at them and be like, it's not the best day, so they maybe get under my skin. But then other times I'll show my friends and I'll be like, oh, look what this person said. Someone actually made a page about me.
Really?
Yeah.
What, like your fan page or like a hating page?
I don't want to say a hate page, but it's just, I think they're just having fun. They called it Bald Info Ken.
Bald Info Ken.
Bald Info Ken.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
And I didn't actually know about it at first until my friends, they said, Ken, did you make this account? I was like, what account? And they showed me, and it's just someone who did sort of put the bald filter on me and started making videos, which I was like, have I made it? Someone made an account? No, but I thought it was, I think it's funny.
Right, okay. So, I guess I thought maybe there'd be more to dive into there, but this has really been the theme of you posting skincare content on social media. But was it quite quickly that there was, I mean, you just described there the Bold Info Ken, right?
Yeah.
So was it quite quickly that an audience began to pick up on the hair situation?
I get the odd comment for sure, even on TikTok. But I mean, just going off on, not talking about social media as well, but in real life, like back at school, sixth form, for the people watching in the US, or worldwide, it's, sixth form is high school, basically. I was known as that. Apparently, like whenever I'd be outside and we'd be playing football, I'd be known as the guy, oh, you have bald spots on your head.
Oh, really?
Oh, you're balding, bald eagle, because I'm American.
Yeah.
So it's sort of, it's always been in my mind, but the comments would occasionally be in my comments, obviously, but then it was really that video that made every single comment about that.
Right. Okay. This brought, like, I think I'll be real. I think that's probably how I came across you. I don't know if it was that one specifically, but I guess however the algorithm works, like whenever people are commenting about hair or those certain keywords, and boom, there you were, right?
Is that your whole feed then?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Apart from the obvious things that there's a lot of on Instagram, but
cooking videos.
Yeah, cooking videos, yeah, and cars.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a lot of stuff to do with hair transplants or
the
hair
general
systems, the general hair loss niche, yeah, for sure. And then I saw this video and I was like, okay, wow, right. So I'm not the sort of person to be, I don't search social media looking for people who need to or want to take the leap and be like, hey man,
you don't go out your way.
I don't go out my way to hunt people down and try and convince them to do it or whatever.
Right.
But I would see your posts regularly and whatnot, right?
Okay, so it was an initial one, and then
because I knew it was about skincare.
I think I saw you interact with the one.
Probably.
So maybe that's what the algorithm picked up, like, oh,
right.
Let's serve him more of skinful Ken's.
I probably said every now and again, maybe I'll say something like, hey, whenever you're ready, bro, we're ready for you, or something like that. Just if you want that chat, we can have it, or something like that. Or maybe someone tagged me. I don't think so, but maybe they did.
Do you get tagged often?
Yeah, sometimes for people that are like, whoa, have you seen this guy or something like that, Let's just dive into it, shall we? The hair loss thing, right? Because that's kind of the creme de la creme.
For some.
For some. Right, so that's obviously how how this collab has come about. But take me back then to social media aside, your real world, real life experience of hair loss. When did it begin? For example, the way I describe it, there's a time when you never really, it's not even on the radar, and then something happens where the seed is planted.
When I was reading your, working my way through your book, as I am currently doing, you were recording a video for your clothing brand.
Yeah.
And, you're obviously maybe unboxing it or pulling out the shirt and looking behind the scenes, like Gary Vee said. And then you noticed something on the top of your head. And then obviously that was like the moment for you. There was no build up to it. It was just, it hit you all at once, which I think is maybe not worse, but harder to deal with than gradually knowing you're gonna go bald and you're balding, which is kind of the situation in my case.
Right.
It was never really a huge focus. Obviously the genetics weren't the best in my family in terms of hair, growth. But yeah, I'd say it crept up. Usually in like I said, sixth form, everyone's known for their one thing. I guess I was known for that, but it really wasn't very obvious. It was more so just like that thing, I guess maybe when the wind was in my hair or something.
So sixth form, so you're 16, 17 at this time, right?
Correct, yeah.
So do you notice oh yeah, my hair is a bit thin, or do you know in your head oh yeah, I guess I am going to go bald one day?
I never really thought too much about it, because I didn't think it was I didn't think it was very noticeable, and it obviously didn't bother me enough to be really aware about it. But after I left sixth form, as I went to uni, and then as time went on in uni, then I definitely started to notice the effects of thinning, and looking in the mirror and seeing
okay,
what's happening,
what
my genetics are doing.
Right. Okay. And then do you remember having a crossover from it's not really that bad to oh whoa, actually?
Yeah. So I do have Sorry,
Yeah.
So it was 2021, I believe, summertime. It was a sunny day, you know. We don't get much of those in the UK, but
No.
it was a nice day, festival, and I'd come home from the festival, and I guess I was just unpacking my bags. And in my house, in my living room, we have quite a few mirrors, so very vain, some would say. No, so yeah, there's quite a few mirrors in my living room, and it was sunny, and I remember looking in the mirror, just I don't know, maybe at a spa or something, just looking at myself, and I noticed the tiniest bit of visible, you know, like the see-through bit.
Scalp.
I noticed some thinning, and I could see my scalp, not very clear, but I noticed that there was a lack of hair in that spot, and that was sort of that was my moment where I was like, yeah, what's going on right now?
Right.
Like this is not good.
And how old were you then?
I believe I was like 19.
Okay. So this is where it becomes like a thing, right? 19 years old, you're like, okay, yeah, this is like actually really happening.
Yeah, it struck me then.
Then where do you go from there? Are you like asking your mum about it? Are you like on the internet, Googling, like what should I do? Because, you know, then it's a part of your life and you kind of look, right, how do I deal with this?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is maybe denial in the order in which you're like, oh wait, let me maybe change it. Maybe it's just an angle. Maybe it's I don't know what it is.
You're hoping for it to be something not.
Exactly, correct, yeah. But then you come to the conclusion that it is. And lucky for me though, because my mom worked in that field and she knew sort of what you could do to help prevent regrow and all that. She told me about minoxidil. 5%. So I took before photos. I always think it's important if you're trying to do a journey of something. Like I know you're going to the gym, you took before and after photos. It's always nice to do. Unfortunately, in this case though, the after isn't. There's no after yet.
Okay.
But yeah, I started to use minoxidil.
Really, like twice a day. The
recommended
or foam or.
I prefer the foam because otherwise it takes too long to dry. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the routine. Did that begin at 19 then? When did you start that?
Yeah, so I started that in 2020, so yeah, I was 19.
Okay, 19. And are you still doing that now?
I am, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so you've been, how old are you now, sorry?
23.
23, so 4 years using the minoxidil.
Exactly.
Where were you at with like the harder stuff? The finasteride?
The DHT blockers, the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So that didn't come till later. It was in the summer I started that.
Okay.
I remember, man.
When you say summer, the one just gone?
Oh, no, sorry. So in 2022, I believe.
Okay, so you started on the minoxidil and then a few months later on, you added in the finasteride or whatever, right?
Yeah, well, at that point, like I remember there's this, at uni, there's this, you know, a ball in the summer. They get cool rides and, you know, it's obviously outside. They get cool artists to play music. And I was like, I cannot go outside with my hair. Like, it was like, I don't know what, it just wasn't the style. I just wasn't happy with it, and I was like, what can I do about it? And you know, you hear a lot about finasteride, the side effects, and it's quite a choice to make. But I was willing to make that choice, and I didn't see any side effects, or at least noticeable ones. And yeah, I started taking finasteride.
Yeah, nice. So that's been the regimen. So it's just interesting to know. So I mean, let's be honest, those are the available things that are there. The only two real, you know, like you said, you did mention, people will talk about oils and all this stuff, right? But being real, like those are the ones that have actually got some...
The more natural ways that probably they're not as effective.
Yeah.
Actually, I think rosemary oil got debunked.
Okay. I want to fast forward a minute. So that's the regime. I want to hear about the full regime. So you got the like daily min, thin, hair fibers. Are these involved? Like talk me through the daily hair routine. Yeah, if you can.
I mean,
we are gonna. I'd love to see it too.
You want to see
but
it?
just
Okay.
talk me through it if you can.
Right. So, yeah, my hair routine evolved over time. First, obviously, the minoxidil, then the finasteride, and then I don't know how I came across them. I think my mom mentioned the hair fibers, and you know, I was like, I'm not, you know, salt and peppering my hair or whatever, and I gave it a try, and I think I compared it to concealer. You know, let's say you have acne on your face, and you want to cover it up a little bit, maybe make it look less red, put some green tint on it, because that usually helps. So I sort of compared it to that, and I was like, yeah, this is fine. So I started to use those as well.
Hairspray to lock it in?
Sort of, but I usually wear hats a lot. As you can, I mean, I'm wearing a hat now, so that wasn't really an issue with the wind and anything.
Okay. So when you're doing when you got the hat on, do you do the hair fibers as well, in case you need to take it off, or?
Well, it depends where I'm going.
If you're going out.
If I'm just going to the store, I'll just chuck on a beanie or a hat and I won't do anything. But like if I'm going to out for a night out or something, then I'll be more likely to use hairspray and the fibers and everything.
Do you wear hats on a night out or no?
It depends. It really like.
Because you can't really go to a nightclub with a hat on, right?
Well.
Oh, can you?
Well, yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
It depends where, obviously. I think.
Yeah.
That is, for anyone who likes to wear his hat and who's balding, that is it's a worst nightmare. You get to the club and they have to scan your ID. You have to take off your hat. It's always like it's the worst feeling.
Yeah, awkward. I actually remember really quickly, not to take away from your story, but
no, that's fine.
When I was growing out my hair, and I too had a hat phase during that time because, dude, the power of the hat is unmatched.
Unreal.
It's so like.
Especially
easy.
if you look good in a hat as well.
I
think
it should hunt, especially with the beanie, right? I had this little red beanie, and you're 100% secure. You know, at least that's how it feels, and it's like it's the perfect illusion. And then in the train stations in China, they would look under your hat to, you know, in case you were trying to smuggle something in through the underneath your hat. Yeah. Oh, wow. And I'd obviously like had the most like insane hair at this time. I had to take my hat off in the train station, and I even felt the sort of like that. The dread, the knot in my stomach as I had to like reveal. Yeah. And it's that reveal that is the anxious part. Like honestly, once it's like if I'd have just rocked up no hat, it's like, well, everyone knows what's going on here, so it's not a thing. But it's the reveal, you know. It
is right. It's the sudden change as opposed to that's that.
Feels so exposing. Right?
I think it does.
When you take it off. So, okay, so is that a factor then? You're like, would you say some people are trying to organise a night out then, and do you have to factor that into your plans, right? You're like, can I go in this venue with a hat on? Can't I?
I feel a lot more comfortable if I am allowed to wear it. And if I'm not allowed to wear it, then I'll pre-prepare and I'll, obviously, look in the mirror, spend an excessive amount of time seeing if it looks all right, and then sorting it out and whatnot. Yeah. But preference is usually to wear a hat.
Yeah, feel safer like that. So when I asked about the routine because I wanted to know about when you first started posting online, were you self-conscious making the content, putting yourself out there about the hair, or did you not even think about it at the time?
I'll be honest, I'd get the odd comments, but I didn't mind that much.
The focus was on the skincare, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You weren't right.
But like I don't wear hats in my videos, so it doesn't really bother me to put my hair out there. But I guess maybe because it's the separation with the screen and like obviously it's not in person. I don't mind wearing a hat. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Unless if I'm indoors, then I'm fine not wearing a hat really, and as long as it's not too bright. But if I'm outdoors, then I guess it's like usually a different like ball game for sure.
For sure. What was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you quickly about the multiple takes. Like, have you ever done a take on a reel and been like, oh, now my hair doesn't look like it's a bit too, hair doesn't look good in that one. I need to retake that, or.
Of course, yeah. I mean, as you know, like when you're shooting on your phone, you'll do just like a test shoot and then you'll see what's up. Not for hair, but for whatever reason, like the lighting is good. But for me, I'll always see if it's all right, and it doesn't look too bad.
Too exposed. When you say too bad, do you mean like too exposing?
I don't use bad. I don't. Yeah, I don't.
That's what most people mean.
Yeah, I'm so used to saying that, but I like to adjust it and make sure it looks consistent with my other videos. I
don't actually know what your long-term plans are. Maybe a little sponsored trip to Turkey. I don't know if you've got plans for that or not. But right, how did it come about where you were thinking like, yeah, you know what, maybe let me try this whole hairline reveal, head shave thing, because that's what a lot of these comments were, right? A lot of these comments were like, when's the hairline reveal?
But I'm gonna be honest, I don't get the appeal of a hairline reveal?
Right.
Well, I'll ask you. Is it?
I think it's because
What is it? Not is it the hairline or is it just that raw form of the hair?
I think it's the raw form. So I think what it is like people, because obviously, and I'll just be straight as a viewer of the content. If I put myself in their shoes,
Sure.
because there is an element of, with the fibers and with the certain style. Okay, you can kind of tell then that there is an element of concealment going on.
Mystery.
Right? There's mystery to it. Right. Yeah, and you're thinking, and so you can kind of see like, oh right. I want to know what the reality of that. What does it really look like when it's not kind of done up?
I see.
When it's not made up. I want to see what it looks like. I think that's what the appeal is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
So when did you think like, okay, yeah, maybe let's give the people people what they want. Tell me how this came about.
Well, the thing is though, I just I made that facial hair styles video, and I think it's so fun not playing into, but sort of going along self-deprecating humor. I'm a big fan of that. And I think I enjoy it a lot, like making these creative videos, at least what I think is creative, and teasing it and playing around with it.
It's an audience then. You're interacting with the audience in that way, aren't you?
Yeah. I want it to be fun, and the goal is not too serious. Obviously you can be serious, like this podcast is probably more serious than my content usually, but the main goal is for it to be entertaining.
Yeah, and I think you need to be honest, I think you need a lot of confidence to be able to do that, which I think you do. It seems like you do have. This isn't something that's like all crushing and all like this is the biggest moment of your life to actually like reveal this. Like, obviously it's an insecurity, like that's a genuine thing.
Of course.
Because if it wasn't, you wouldn't be wearing a hat. You wouldn't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it is for everyone. I don't say that to like single you out.
No.
But that's a good thing. It shows that like now that you're willing to touch on this elephant in the room, let's say, you need confidence to do that.
I think a little bit. I think it's easy to not put on a facade, but to play it off. But obviously, I think it does have an impact. Hopefully I speak for not hopefully, but I think I speak for a lot of people. It doesn't have an impact, but it does make it a lot easier if you're willing to make jokes about it and accept it and whatnot.
This is hair loss, you mean?
This is me and this is it.
Yeah. For sure. So you had the idea of like, go on.
I have one more point. I think it takes away from the tension, right? The elephant in the room. If you don't acknowledge something like that, it's that tension is sort of the uneasy feeling. That's why I love making the jokes and having fun with it. But you know what I've also found? Since I've started this whole journey, I guess you could say, I'm getting more DMs and nice messages from people saying, for example, keep up the good work. Love your content. Love the skincare tips. I like that you play into it. My respect, big respect to you for putting yourself out there and not being, ashamed about it and whatnot. And yeah.
Good. No, I think that's keeping it real. I think people like people. People like real people, don't they? So the more kind of real you are about that, the better. The more you can tell when someone's genuine or whatnot, and that's what people like. So what is?
I hope that comes across in the videos.
Right. What is the play then? What is the?
Ooh.
What's the plan? What's the plan?
What's the plan with the hair?
Yeah.
Well, I think if some of the viewers couldn't already tell right now, your main focus is obviously taking that leap, I'd say, to take that leap and own your insecurity and sort of obviously accept it and live a happier life, I guess.
Okay. In long term, are you taking it step by step? Is there like a long term? I joked about the sponsored trip to Turkey because there's obviously other creators online who have done very similar things. I made a video about that UK YouTuber Theo Baker, right, who
That was one of the videos I saw of yours.
You know, he was kind of like umming and ahhing, and then when someone came through and was like, "Oh, you can have a hair transplant on us if you want," he was like, "All right, I'll do that then."
Yeah.
So is there?
Well, I think initially, what I want to do is see what it's like. You know, I think
Sorry, my stomach. I haven't eaten anything. Carry on.
I think I need to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm excited to see what it's like when I shave it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm nervous, but I think the time has come, and it's time to see where it goes.
Did you? That's such a good segue. Did you? This is more just for us to generally connect on the thing.
Yeah.
For me, the thing that struck me was I was so gobsmacked, dude, by how insecure just a bit of hair loss made me. You know, because I was a bit fat growing up, and I remember being a bit insecure about that. You know, because I was the guy in school that I would make jokes about other people to kind of deflect my own insecurity about being fat in school.
Right.
And other than that,
Like keep your shirt on when you go to the beach or something.
was on that. I don't think it was quite that level because I used to do a lot of swimming, but I remember people would joke about me being chubby and fat and having tits and stuff like that, you know, when I was a kid.
They didn't hold back.
No, they didn't hold back. It's, you know what I mean? It's UK banter. So that was the only time when I maybe felt a little bit insecure. Other than that, never really cared.
Crossed your mind.
Never really. But then all of a sudden, you know what I mean? I was 25 and I was like, I'm literally so insecure about this. I'm 30. I've just turned 35.
Happy
This is
belated.
35.
35. You're not 35,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Just turned 35. I know, dude. Don't.
No, as in like you don't look 35. That's
okay, really?
Crazy.
Thank you, mate. In a good way or?
You look younger.
Oh,
than
okay.
35.
Yeah. Thank you, mate. Yeah, it's been a wild. I can't believe it's been that long myself, but
35. Wow.
yeah, obviously I was living. You know what I mean? I was living away,
Yeah.
and I thought I just sort of knew because I did biology at uni as well. I should mention that. So I'm
Did you go
quite
in the UK? Or was that China?
This was UK. The first time I went to uni, I went to Plymouth Uni, did biology. So I've always been quite a sort of like black and white thinker
Very
and like
yeah.
scientific. And I just knew, I knew there wasn't an out and out cure. You know, there was nothing that could be like, if you do this thing that's in your head about hair loss, any worry is gone. It's literally gone, sorted. I just knew that wasn't what it was available, you know, which that's not hate, that's reality, right? And I guess I couldn't deal with that reality in a sense that I was like, right, I'm already so paranoid about this, right? And I was already like taking pictures, like scrutinizing, like always thinking about it, worrying about it. I was like, there's nothing that's available out there that is going to stop that, because it's like, I knew, like, even if I start doing the regimen and stuff,
okay,
I would go on.
Oh, sorry, go ahead now.
Let me just finish this point.
I'm excited to ask
Sure.
you questions.
I would have still been taking the, you know, how is it working, right? Like, is this maintaining like the hair? Like, is it regrowing? Like, it would still be in my mind, and I just needed it off my mind completely. And so then I just knew, like, I have to make peace with this, because that's the one thing that gets me off the train completely. Right. And if I can handle the worst case scenario of going bald, then I've literally solved the problem, because the problem was the insecurity. Do you know what I mean? That was where the pain was coming from. I wasn't like, ow, my head hurts. It was like, I'm so desperately insecure and it's always on my mind. I need that out of my life. So that's what attracted me to the whole, I'm just going to shave this. I think we did actually touch on this, right? Briefly on our Zoom call. Sorry for teaching you to suck eggs.
It's all mental and it's physical, which is, I'd say, a majority of insecurities, I'd say. You know?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's the anxiety, the appearance anxiety of it. So sorry, I think I gave you that TED talk there to to ask you the question, on your journey, the idea of one day embracing it, accepting it, just going bald, basically shaving your head. That should be fine, don't worry. It's on. Yeah. That's on. Was that, when did that come up first? Was that always a bit of thing in the back of your mind, or is it a very recent thing? Like,
the which one?
So the idea of like, one day maybe I could accept this and I will just go bald and shave it off.
No, growing up, I was always, I'm getting a hair transplant. Getting a hair transplant.
Right.
I'm never shaving it. I can't do that. I like, yeah, I literally, I was like, as far away from that guy to do it in my head than you could possibly be.
So what changed?
I think, I'm not too sure what's changed. Maybe it's like, more visible now. It's more obvious. Making videos about it has made me realize, oh, it's really not that big of a deal. There's, just see how it is, and maybe, I guess you could always grow it back if you want. But, try something new as well. And it's a big time waster for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
And energy and money.
Paint that, I think one thing I really want to, and I know this is not always easy, but paint a picture of that. It's like it's a mind, it's on the mind, it's a lot of energy. On a real one, what is that like? Because I've been very honest, like for me, like it really, dude, like it was.
I remember you mentioned you'd sit back if you were late to your class, and
I would be late deliberately.
Yeah, of course.
Because the uni had a rule where it was like, if you're late, you have to sit at the back. Don't be coming in here late, disturbing the class. Right. So I was like, oh, sweet. I was like, I'll rock up 10 minutes late and I'll have to sit at the back. Oh no, and that was because that one event where I was sat in it, obviously I loved, and I should say that was like the best time of my life in those uni classes, because I'm a bit cocky, bit of the class like clown in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I just like interacting with people. Yeah, making people laugh, like chatting people up, right? Whatever it is, right? I just like that. So I used to love going there because, loads of good mates, the rest of it. And then I was sat in the middle of the classroom and those guys behind me, I don't know if you got to that bit in the book, but those guys, there were these two foreign guys behind me, and they started like, pss, pss, and they were like laughing, and I was like, oh, they're literally laughing at me. And it was the first thing that came into my mind. And then I felt so uncomfortable. Yeah, I just sat at the rest of the day, like my head against the back of the wall. And then I vowed never to let that happen again. So I just sat at the back, like head against the wall, kept my mouth shut, and just like tried to pass the final exams.
Totally transitioned from what you previously were.
Night and day, mate, night and day. And then I was just like, obviously, the more that went on, I was just like, what am I doing? Like, what is going on? Like, that was the thing that was so mind-blowing to me. I'm like, I know this is normal, but at the same time, like, I'm so worried about this. Anyway.
Looking back, would you change anything?
Honestly, no. No, it had to happen like that.
Because look where you are now.
Right?
That's good. That's a good mindset.
Yeah, I obviously wasn't as confident and secure in myself before the balding as I thought I was. I thought I was a confident guy, but I probably wasn't. Maybe a lot of this joking and, if we really want to deep it, was a bit of a front, was a bit of a front for, maybe I wasn't that confident in myself.
That's my battery.
Okay. Maybe I wasn't that confident in myself. So this taught me to like really evaluate myself, on who I was.
Right.
Again, I don't want to like, deep it too hard. Some people will be rolling their eyes, but it is real like that, like.
No, yeah,
of
course.
You have to.
But I think the people watching will want to hear that as well.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. Like it's.
Yeah, you're like, okay, yeah, it's one thing being confident in like what you can wear or, your hair, but like to be confident in like who you actually are in front of like anyone, that's like that takes work, and I think that balding journey was a big part of that work. And afterwards, like how my hair looks now or whatever, even just rocking around with that, just like on show and doing anything you would normally is like, okay, yeah, I don't need to worry about this. But yeah, it is a journey like that. You have to be in situations like that, like talking to that woman. I know you're in a relationship, we need to get on that, but talking to that woman, just like talking to loads of people, being in busy areas, and those are things I love. Just quickly, like had a message another yesterday actually from a guy who was in Camden Market, who'd like shaved his hair off recently, no hat, just rocking a shaved head out in public, busy market, and he's like, yeah, this is like this was legit the right move for me. Like, I'm just out here doing my thing, not finally, not worrying about it.
I've got a question for you.
Please do.
So, obviously, it's always lovely to hear these wonderful stories about, I shaved my head, it was so liberating, it was the best thing ever, no regrets, this is my style. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Have you ever had or any encounters where that was not the case, and either, it left them worse off than they were before, let's say?
Yeah.
Or anything along those lines?
Sure. I was just checking the time there. We're good. So I personally think you can never be worse off for trying it, because again, the science of it says, and which is true, you can try it, and your hair can be back where it was within a matter of months. Physically, you can be exactly where you were. So if you try it and you decide after a bit of time, actually, this isn't for me, like literally no issue, mate, because you can go back to where you were knowing that the path of accepting it or whatever wasn't for you. So now you've ruled one option out, right? But so I don't believe in there can be like a truly bad outcome. However, there are guys that will do it and maybe they weren't ready to do it. And by ready, I mean, you do need a significant amount of like emotional pain, or there needs to be a big enough pain point to be like, yeah, okay, now's the time, because if you just do it like, oh, I'll give it a go, then you're not making a fair like a comparison, because then guys will kind of be like, oh, maybe it was a bit early, and they kind of regrow it, maybe go like that for another few years and then do it again. Do you know what I mean? Some people, that's their journey.
So it's
everyone's
not so
journey is different.
Regretting shaving it, it's more so just not doing it the right. Not regretting shaving, but
listen, there are some guys that will comment like, oh, I did it and I hated it, or like, oh, I did it and I was worse off. 99% of the time that happens because you've got to remember what you're actually tackling here is the anxiety, is the insecurity. That's the bit that you're doing this for, and the act of shaving your head stops the hiding. So for example, we mentioned earlier that hat thing where you're like out and that awkward thing where you got to take it off, and that is very uncomfortable. When you rock up to the club with your head shaved, that doesn't exist. That anxious feeling of like, oh, I'm going to have to reveal this, or what if someone's noticed, doesn't exist, because you're already out there. Do you know what I mean? You're not hiding in any way. You're not doing any of this safety behavior, hiding.
Yeah.
That is the goal of shaving your head. It's to remove the anxiety. So if there's ever a guy that is like, oh no, it was worse, it's usually because they do it, but then they'll put a hat on and still keep it hidden. But now they're just keeping a bald head hidden, or they'll stop going out, or they interact, like socially will interact less, or whatever. Or they don't even put themselves out there on the dating market because they're like, oh, I'm bald now, like no one's going to want to go on a date with me. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're like, oh, my dating life sucked when I went bald. And it's like,
why does it suck?
Well, yeah, because you didn't put yourself out there. It's always something like that. If I really dig deep into a guy that says that, which is rare, I will say it's very rare.
I saw you did case studies on your
right
book.
In the book. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great read. The viewers watching it
Thank you.
should definitely check it out.
There's actually 18 questions that keeps balding men afraid, stuck, insecure, and feeling ugly. But finally, it's here. My book, The Power Shift, which answers these 18 questions. So if you're a guy who wants to take action on his balding, whether you just want to feel better about how you look, you want more success in the dating world, you want to go on adventures, whatever you want to do with your life, you want to do it, not worrying about your balding, check out my groundbreaking book, The Power Shift. To get your books, go to baldcafe.com. It's linked below and you can get reading within the next few seconds.
Just to kind of round off that point, being worse off, like, no, like how can it get any worse as well? Because if you're already that uncomfortable, you're hiding, you don't feel confident, you're feeling anxious, like how can that be like? How can that get worse? Do you know what I mean? And I remind guys to make the fair comparison. You're not comparing the shaved head to pre-balding you with like how you look. And if ever guys are like, oh yeah, it was worse, that's usually what they've got in their mind. That's usually what they're comparing. They're comparing like how their life was before balding ever existed and how they looked versus how they are with a shaved head and how they look with a shaved head. That's not the fair comparison. You've got to compare balding you, which is your reality, to now shaved head you.
I do also want to add another point. So you said about pain. Obviously, it's not going to be it's not physical, but I wouldn't say it's always that. At least in my case, it's more maybe frustration. Number one, like not denial, maybe denial, but just frustration that this thing can take up so much time, and it's just you know, all the stuff that goes into it. So I'd say in my case it's more frustration as opposed to like the pain side, I'd say. But maybe you could make a comparison or make a
hassle, right? I call it. I'd use hassle for the word where it's just like, oh, just an aggravation.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
You could make a comparison that maybe they link a little bit, but
that's what it is for you, more so, right? Yeah. I got it right. Let's take it back to you in terms of the play now. So you come to this point, the frustration has been building. Together with the comment, the content's been building. You're like, right, the time is now. So how are you feeling? You know, as we walked in here, kind of behind the scenes, you did say like, I'm actually kind of nervous that the ball's actually rolling now. So talk us through how you're actually feeling about it.
I think it's like a nervous excitement. But I never like to build my expectations because there's only it's like a recipe for failure in my opinion, right? Like anything you do really, if you set an expectation, you have to exceed the expectation by a lot for it to be wow, this was great. But if you like set your expectations quite low and sort of downplay it a little bit, and this goes I think with most stuff in life, then the result is usually a lot more fruitful and more likely to leave you satisfied. So in the case of my hair, I think obviously I'm excited to see what it's like and give the people what they want. You know, sometimes you got to do that. Hopefully when I do shave it, then it'll be nice. Yeah.
When it's done, I suggest you book, I don't know, like take the missus out, book, like go to the club. Like honestly, you've got to, because the anxiety's still there. It's one thing you seeing yourself in your own home in the bathroom, but actually like getting out into the world, posting on social media, you know, like seeing the friends, all of that stuff. You've got to get that. The reactions are a big thing for people, you know, and you've got to get that out of the way.
You nailed it on the head there. I'm honestly so excited to get the reactions. I mean, I just think I'm so excited to get it for content, to document that so I can look back on it as well. But also just that feeling, that's what I'm actually kind of excited about.
Good.
Because after that moment, it's sort of like, you know, it's over, I guess. But so I guess enjoy it while it lasts and make the most of it.
Yeah. Yeah, the moment.
It's sort of my motto, yeah.
Yeah, like enjoy the moment. It's over. When you say it's over, I mean the build up, right? Not the.
I'm kind of. I feel like the expectations are so high now that I couldn't. That's going back to expectation. I feel like they're so high when I shave it.
Has anyone actually ever seen the hairline reveal? Because this is the juicy bit now, right? How are we going to do this? Like,
what's the plan?
Yeah, what is the plan?
So I like to take things as they come. So with the content, I take the content as it comes. So those comments first started coming in. I'm like, shoot, what am I going to do now? Like, do I shave? Like, what do I do? Like, people are interested. People are going to be interested in my other content. But as time went on, I took it as it came, and I started to play into it. At first, I was more reluctant to do that and talk about it, but I think maybe that's a bit selfish. I think speaking about it and doing this content is it's not just for me. It's, as you maybe can attest to that, it's for,
tell me about that. Yeah,
it's for other people as well. Yeah, to know that it's fine, and you know, you can make jokes about it and that sort of stuff.
Right. This podcast setup and whatnot aside.
Yeah.
So you've got the plan where you're gonna be at home and you're gonna show. When I asked you like who's actually seen it, like in your personal life, like who knows the reality under the?
Mainly my family.
Right. Okay.
I also have an older brother who.
Is he losing his hair?
He doesn't like to be on the content, but so I mean, actually, this is I also got So some people say we're like basically twins. He's 4 years apart, but I sort of looked at him. He's sort of like a test subject for me, how I'm gonna look.
Right.
That sounds strange, but yeah.
Is he? So what situations he's in?
He's lost more hair than I have.
Okay. Is that funny? Does he? So has he still got hair, or he shaves it off?
They didn't shave it. He rocks.
Right.
I don't know if he's watching this. I'm sorry.
Oh well, is that why you're laughing? Because it'll be a bit savage.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. A bit brutal.
He sort of rocks the Friar Chuck haircut.
Really? Really? Okay. Interesting.
As I don't know why that was so funny, but
Well, so is he full
he
horseshoe? Is he, or does he comb it over, or where?
no, he doesn't comb it over.
Okay, so but is he like me, like where there's?
Sort of, yeah, but a little bit longer on the sides.
Oh, but this is all same like me, just nothing.
Correct, yeah.
Wow.
He's not on the minoxidil or finasteride.
No, he's just all natural.
all natural, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so that's and when you look at him as a
Example.
example,
Say that.
in terms of what you might look like, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean by that?
Like, that's the big thing that a lot of guys are worried about. How am I going to look? How am I going to look?
Okay.
So when you see him, does that reassure you or does that freak you out?
I mean, I think we live different lifestyles. It doesn't bother me that like I look like that.
Okay, okay, good. We got there in the end.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because that's the thing, you know, people will look at their dads or whatever, their uncles, brothers, and be like, nah, he's rocking it. Like, so
Yeah,
if that's
exactly.
what I need to do, then sweet, I can do that. Is there anything we haven't touched on that you want to kind of say in this podcast style?
I think we've touched on the majority of things.
Yeah.
I will say though, I like how this has become a thing.
Okay.
It's
mean?
very interesting to me how this insecurity has led to some great things, right? I've been able to, like, I think grow a community that, you know, is becoming more and more like community-like. I'd say on my side, which is nice. But from this, insecurity, I've been able to do like meet you and film content, and good things come from it. Have some good things come from it.
Yeah, man. Excellent. I was gonna.
We got there in the end.
Yeah, man. There was a burning question in my head, and I totally forgot it. I know some people are gonna ask. They're like, "Oh, so you're on like Finn and Min and whatnot. So how are you still why hasn't that saved you? Like, why hasn't?"
Well, this is the thing. I think it comes to managing expectations. I don't like to say it's an uphill battle. I mean, in a way, it sort of is. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Some people will react great. Another creator I met recently,
Tom Gilbanks.
Yeah, shout out to you, Tom.
Yeah, he's a good bloke.
He's had great results from minoxidil, finasteride, dutasteride.
Is he on that as well?
Yeah, he's doing an experiment, which is great for him. But I don't react maybe as well to him on that. But who knows how I don't have a baseline to compare to how I would be without that stuff.
True.
If you could choose to have a full head of hair or stay the way you are now, what would you choose?
What, like no catches, which isn't a real thing, so it's hard to.
And you don't have to answer this. I know this is sort of.
Yeah, no.
It might go against your.
No, not at all. It's been asked of me loads, but genuinely, it's. I could not say that I would change anything because there is nothing I would want to change about myself now. Does that make sense? Not least hair. There's things I would want to change, but hair is not one of them because there is nothing I've wanted to do since losing my hair that not having a full head of hair has stopped me doing, right? So in my reality, in my worldview, having a full head of hair would not have changed that. Do you know what I mean? Do you see what I mean?
So
So I would say no. I
say
would say
no.
no, because what would it do for me?
Okay.
Right? There's other things, right? There's
Yep.
other things that I would be like, I'd like more money or whatever, right? On a real, I'm 35 now, and loads of people around me have started, you know, optimizing their hormones, right, for more success, more. And I think, would I want to do that? You know, maybe there'd be a bit of debate on for that. But in terms of hair, like, I don't see anything that it would give me
That you don't
that
already
I
have.
can't already, that I don't either already have or could achieve or could get. So no.
Okay, nice.
And I think if this had never happened to me, I still would have been that insecure guy who thought he was confident, but I obviously wasn't. Because if I was, would losing a bit of hair have really crushed me the way it did? If I was confident back then, no. I would have been like, whatever. So I think, again, I don't want to deep it, but I'm a big believer in things happening for a reason, to be honest. And I think that was a valuable lesson for me in terms of my development as a man.
I'm just gonna fling the idea out there.
Yeah.
I think at least, you know, maybe from a viewer perspective, I'm gonna do. I think a Baldcafe hair journey regrowth.
Oh, dude.
Could be so.
Can you imagine?
So.
Can you imagine? There's so many
good.
hair transplants on the card. I think the one thing I will do, because it's quick and easy, is I got a trip to Japan coming up at the end of the year.
That's so sick.
And there's a guy that can do a full wig without needing to grow the sides out. It's like, just sticks the whole thing on. I think I'm going to do that for a video. Yeah, it's a toupee, but not like a hair system where they like just only put it on this bit. He's like, shaves your head totally, then puts the wig on, then cuts it. I think I would do that, but blimey, dude. I got my DMs of like there's at least easy now 5 or 6 companies that would be like, we can give you a hair transplant, SMP, they all want to see it because they know, it would be monumental, right? And obviously the audience is there.
I bet it'd be controversial.
Oh, talk about controversy, yeah. No, dude, not too far gone. But listen, I want to ask, right, the hair reveal, would you be comfortable doing a hair reveal now or no? I gotta
on
just
the
put it
spot
out
right
there.
now?
On the spot, yeah, on camera.
Well, the thing is, it's not the raw form.
Oh, okay, so you got the fibers in now.
So it wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be fair.
I don't think it'd be.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm not trying to pressurize you into exposing yourself.
That's fine.
Okay, so it's not in its rawest form now. So you've done the routine today.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, yeah, nice. Because you stayed over somewhere last night, right? So you got up, did the routine.
No, because I don't wash my hair every day. So I just I did shower. I just didn't wash my hair.
Right. Okay, so that's strategic.
I guess time constraints. As in I didn't want to be late. It's such a faff sometimes to just do it that like you know, you can leave it sometimes like a day or two, not a day, and just take a break from like worrying about it.
Yeah. Keep the products in and whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fair.
Yes.
Okay, mate. Well, listen, I'm excited for you, Cam.
Harry.
It's been a pleasure, mate. Really glad that we put this together, had the chat.
This was fun.
I'm grateful for helping you, you know, share this part of your journey, mate.
Yeah, thanks for setting that. Like, yeah, you took that initial leap by sliding into my DMs.
I did.
And
you teased it out, and I thought, don't troll me, bro. I was like, you can't be trolling me this hard, right? And I said, if you're actually gonna do this, then let's do it justice.
I gotta do it now, don't I?